Welcome to Story Scaling by podcastvideos.com, where creators share the truth behind the content, the grind, and the growth.
Kitten Clucky is a theatrical adventure podcast for kids. It is scripted fiction, and we work to create a screen-free audio environment for kids to listen to. We are also creating a bunch of different
educational resources. We both have a theatrical background, and then we write the scripts ourselves. We do most of the voices on it, and it was just a matter of creating, and then it sort of evolved, and it's like every single episode had like new animal facts or new nature facts, or and then all these vocabulary words, because we've never talked to our children as dumb things down and talk to them. We talk to them normally. So,
and if they don't know it, the word, we encourage them, and we encourage and demonstrate through our characters, you ask what that means.
Yes.
And so, or, if it gets mispronounced, that's fine. Mistakes are fine. And we also don't shy away from content that really happens. A lot of the stories are based on what has happened in our real lives.
We do keep it sort of educational, but also entertaining for parents as well.
Sure.
We've done the old school Disney thing where we will throw in some adult jokes.
That's beautiful.
We'll go over the heads of kids, but the adults will totally click in on it and sort of I get that.
I can't remember if it was Walt Disney or if it was Dr. Seuss, but they said if a children's book or movie is good enough, then the adults will enjoy it too. So.
Right. And we also, as parents, have listened to a lot of content that have made us want to pull our feathers out. So, we're trying not to create that type of content.
For sure.
And I mean, we even have some Boys to Men references in there. So,
Love it.
We have the Small Biz Catalyst podcast, and it's really geared towards entrepreneurs and economic development professionals. Our goal is really to support small businesses by giving them tips, tools, things that will help them grow, and at the same time support the professionals who help them. I'm really glad, honestly, I stumbled into podcasting, always dreamt about being on radio as a child, and Randy actually helped me when we started, because I had 3 months to just go live and do it. And I'm so glad that I did, because it's really helped me learn a lot in the process. I've learned how to delegate. I've learned how to batch. I've learned how to post ahead, research. And it's been a great networking platform.
Yeah.
You could say I was anti-social. I don't go on social media platforms or anything. But now I'm learning to just embrace that and use, I'm basically learning how to grow in a space where you have no audience and you don't have a lot of interaction. So it's pretty cool. I had 3 months to plan my first podcast, and I had a lot of hurdles before going in, and I was very hesitant. I just thought I had too much going on. I definitely cannot handle this. I promise you, when you make room, you continue to grow. When you commit, you will grow. So just really dive in and then grow from there. You just keep learning. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Just do it.
Just do it. Yes.
Sat on after I retired back in 23 from United States Marshal Service. I did over 30 years of federal law enforcement.
Thank you for your
military. And I decided that I was going to take a trip, and one of the trips was out to California to visit national parks. And when I was out there at the Sierra National Parks, I came upon this gentleman called Colonel Charles Young. I incorporated into the biography of Colonel Charles Young. And what I did was what I'm doing is showing the reader how great this man became to be, was by silencing those inner saboteurs, by using method of his own throughout his career and his life, including with his family, to combat the procrastination habits, combat anger, fear, ego, and doubt. And my strategy to keep up with the world, or keep up with me, is just simply jotting things down on my calendar. It stopped me from procrastinating and dedicating myself to an event and training, because I could sit there and tell myself, like, for example, I want to learn Spanish. So I downloaded this app, and every day I get an alarm on my phone, my calendar saying, hey, look, you got to do this. It's basically a coach, my phone, well, we're using technology, basically a coach remind me, hey, look, you got to practice. Yeah. So, practice is the opposite of procrastinating. Yeah. So that's
something that's simple.
That's simple.
So oftentimes people don't come to see me, or that's what most lawyers will tell you. Most clients come to see a lawyer after there's already been a problem. I consume so many podcasts. I love listening to podcasts. And I always thought, I really would love to launch my own. There's so many interesting people out there. And what better way to really get to know them than by actually interviewing them firsthand.
Right. Yeah.
And so I never really thought about podcasting being connected to my law firm. I always thought, okay, it's going to be something separate. Sure. And then I thought, well, wait a second. My clients, entrepreneurs, I meet so many amazing entrepreneurs through my network. It doesn't have to be one or the
That's
other.
Right.
And talking to my guests about, employment law issues, trademark issues. I mean, that's not the goal of the podcast, because who wants to talk about legal, for an hour? But, those issues get kind of injected. So kind of it becomes valuable to my target client base.
So we've got a couple story-based podcasts. We have the Unfolding podcast, which is a sit-down interview with Meredith Foster. We have Wow God Stories, which is kind of a variety show. And when I came to faith at about 16, 17, God was really showing me, revealing himself in a lot of amazing ways. And so during that 2-year period, I was just overwhelmed with the Word of God. My downtime is creating artwork and maybe playing a little bit of Fortnite and Rocket League.
Or 4 kids in a life, you don't get much of that.
You don't get much of that, but yeah, man, it's been amazing, and love what I get to do. All those things kind of makes up who I am. You have to be if you're going to be an interviewer, you've got to enjoy people, and I don't enjoy people, and that's why I don't I'm kidding with you, but yeah, you just it's. I think that's my advice for creation. It's keeping at it. It has to, and I know that's so generic, but a long, steady doing what you enjoy and loving what you enjoy and keeping at it.
How many people know what a podcast is? Raise your hand. And
maybe a couple out there,
maybe, yeah. And so you go through, but we're kind of curious. Now you go to a room, you say, hey, anybody know what a podcast is? Everybody.
Yeah.
So I like what you're saying, your generation, my friend. My generation hasn't figured it out yet. So we're trying to get the older, the over 55 to start recognizing the value that's here. Get them out of the TV set, get them up and moving and listening, because there's so much there. And once people realize whatever it is that they're into, then they're hooked. We just did a podcast for your nonprofit.
Sure.
Here's how you listen to it. Here's how you share
That's
it.
good.
It's just that simple. And then they go, oh, I like it.
Yep.
Now, they may not do much search. They may only listen to that network, which if it's ours, I'm happy with that.
Absolutely.
But it's required.
Yeah.
You sometimes have to really handhold it. And then once they get that discovery, they're amazing.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my gosh, I found this political podcast that I really enjoy. I found this podcast about a hobby.
Absolutely.
I found this podcast from my old work, wherever I used to be before I retired.
We have recovery-focused healing from addictions and traumas with personal experiences. So I speak from my personal experiences about addiction and trauma, and I also interview experts or life coaches. While I was actually getting my detox, my liver failed. I woke up in the hospital 4 days later. My cousin heard about it, and he was in a program down here in the Dallas area.
Wow.
Reached out to me, and then I wound up in a 9-month rehab a few weeks later. And everything that I thought I knew was wrong, and so I wanted to help set that straight with everyone else. The closer I got to it, it turned into a fire. And I was like, ooh, like that doesn't look good, but it's where I'm going. It's the only way out, right? So then after that, get a little bit closer, and it's like, okay, it's a bigger fire. It's real, real big. But then once you get at the end of the tunnel, find out that it's actually a bonfire. You know, it was an intentional fire that was set up by friends, by family, by those around me that were there to celebrate whatever I was going through.
There's a lot of resources. There's so many different tools. You know, even the tools are different. Yeah, there's a lot of software. There's AI. You know, that there's a lot of tools that can help you really optimize your workflow that I didn't have, you know, when I started. And also just part of the things that was hard for me is I didn't know what I didn't know. And the biggest part is promoting your podcast, because I think the biggest pain point for a lot of creators is, how do I grow my audience? I would say I don't want to scare anyone, but trust me, podcasting is hard, but it is worth it. It's very worth it, right? Because like we were talking before we got on here, you have to think about what you want to say. Even if you're just kicking it with your friends, right? You have to say things in a way that it's interesting for the audience, right? So you have to put some thought and some passion and energy into it. So that takes time. And then you have to record it. You have to figure out whatever flow you want to use. Do you want to do audio, video? You have to spend time to do that. Then you have to think about editing it. And then you have to think about putting it together. Then how do people find you? We were here just talking about search, you know, SEO. So you need to be able to find people who can actually help you, who have the experience. So that's what we're building into Podground. So hopefully we're building it as a scalable platform that more people can join. We can have these events, and we're going to have like a resource library. So if you do need to refer back to whatever events and things that we did in the past where a lot of knowledge was shared, you can have the videos and all of that to go back to. So that's what we're building right now.
I run the Africa Podcast Network. It's the largest podcasting network in Africa. And we also represent the global networks like BBC, Amazon, SiriusXM, Acast for Africa, because a lot of the big companies haven't figured out how to monetize in Africa. It's a very complicated place. You really have to understand the environment to work there. It's now the largest empowerment hub in Africa. We have a community of 15,000 creators. We're full every day. And it's like this huge double-story building with world-class recording studios, 6 podcasting studios, a live eventing space, hot desks, completely free for everybody. And we also host masterclasses with the top talent every week. And we always say, it was quite interesting when the hosts come in, we like always tell them, don't inspire, like come with tactical, practical stuff that's going to change lives. These kids don't need to be told theoretical stuff. They need to know how to do stuff. So every time we do a free masterclass, we top and tail the education around this particular product. We can also say, look, Studio A, you can only go in there if you're a user of that product. You know, there's a lot of ways we did. So brands are happy, community is happy, everybody gets what they need out of it. And that really worked, which I was also shocked about.